Right, hi, here we found a batch of Meadowsweet, which is what we were searching for today. This one unfortunately isn't in flower yet. We can see that it's coming, but it's not there yet. A flower is a very good identifier. We might catch one later on. But another one is the pink. See that pink on the stem? That pink is also down in the root, which I will show you when we dig some up. Now the flower is a massive, big, feathery looking flower. It's a pity that's not here. We might catch some later on. But there you go, that pink. And I've just taken off a branch here. See the pink? And the smell of it is very, very a pink medicinal smell. It's unmistakable once you smell it. And if you're in doubt, does it have the smell? Then it doesn't. It's quite clearly a very, very strong smell and instantly recognisable as a medicinal smell. So we're going to dig some of this up and see if we can find some more. Now we found some Meadowsweet in flower. So there's the lovely creamy bushy flower, and here we go, big long stalk of it. I'm going to see now if we can get the root dug out with my handy digging person. There we go. There's a little root. See, it's pink. That'll all be washed now and put into tincture. And the smell, again, if it doesn't smell medicinal, it's not Meadowsweet. So there we go. That's the root out. See the pink. Here's all the Meadowsweet. Lovely creamy flower. Close in now. The leaves. And the pink stem. And sometimes this is pink too. And when you rip it off, it smells of pink medicine. So there we go. Rows and rows of Meadowsweet. Right, here we are back with our Meadowsweet harvest. All washed up and clean. So this giant bucket full of whole Meadowsweet plant and just roots separated as well. So we started off then just chopping off the flowers and some of the finer leaves in these two white buckets. And then because we found a big batch of it, we just decided to dig it all up and sort it out when we got home. So I'm going to take out a whole plant for you now, so you can see. Let me see, I'll take out this whole one, so if I can get it out. There we go. So there we are. So I'll put this down here so you can see. This is what we've dug up. So obviously all these dried yucky bits we'll sort of discard them. Now, so there's the root. You can see this pink. So what I'll do is we'll cut off this and I'll wash it all. Make sure it's all nice and clean, and that will go straight in the jar for tincture. So coming up then the other end, up here, we'll just cut off the flower. Now, this flower, I'll just cut that off there like that. That is going to be dehydrated. All these leaves are going to be pulled off, like so, exposing the stem all the way down. Discard any leaves that are damaged or old. And this stem then will be chopped up and put in with the root for tincture. And all this goes into the dehydrator for tea. So that's my work cut out for me. But yeah, Meadowsweet is good medicine. Thank you. Right, so we're at home with Meadowsweet today. We finally got it home and all processed and sorted. And in this big bucket here, I have all the leaves and flowers for dehydrating. Now, here's an example of the leaf on its own stem. And we can still see here, it's green on one side and this lovely pink on the other. Now, if I just tilt you up there a little bit. There we go. Yeah, there we go. What I did do for the most part was take off all these leaves off this main stem, and I put this stem in another bucket, which I'll show you in a minute. For the most part, not all. I mean, some of the bigger ones. And any leaves that were, there's one, left it there. Any leaves that are like old and yuck, we won't keep those. So, all lovely herbs, leaves and flowers ready to go into the dehydrator to make tea with. Now you can make tincture with these, but the salicylic acid, which is the forerunner for aspirin and the active ingredient in meadowsweet, is in higher content in the roots. This is fine. This is what you have. This is quite fine. What I did do recently is I mixed a tincture with leaves and flowers and really young, about 3 weeks ago, really young soft roots, and that was good. So these now go onto a tray on the dehydrator for drying. Now in this second bowl, I have all the stems off the leaves, and then the stems off the main stem going down to the root. See, some of them are thicker and they're all chopped up nicely. So these will go into tincture with the roots. And speaking of the roots, here they are all nice and prepared. We can just get a good, there we go. Now they're peeled yesterday, so they've oxidized a little bit. But when you peel them first, they're that white inside, and even now still, the pink medicinal smell is so strong. It's, oh yeah, it's unmistakable. If you're ever working with meadowsweet or think you're working with meadowsweet and that smell is not there, do not use it. If it's meadowsweet, I don't know what kind. So it's that smell is my main identifier. Even when we were digging up the roots, there was 2 roots close by, and I was like, oh, which one of them is the meadowsweet? And I mean, you could clean it all off and have a good examination of it, but the best way was to just break it in half and smell it. Now, this is the roots that I was working with. This is all washed and cleaned. All this black here is plant matter. So this is the root, and this here is where the stem would go up to form the rest of the stem and the stalk and the flowers and the leaves and everything else. So how to prepare this, I've left this one now just to show you how to do it. Some of these, obviously, it's well washed. This black matter is not dirt. It's plant matter. But these roots, I will cut them off and wash them. So I cut them off. Maybe discard any blacker bits. So I keep those. This, and even those there. And then if we can see the roots, it's kind of scaled almost along here. So that's now, and how I prepare the rest of the root then, oops, is I just vegetable peeler and just peel it. Now you can see this pink inside. Obviously, if you can keep that well and good, you could use this as it is without peeling it. My head knows that this black is plant matter, but you know, in the interest of keeping things clean. Now, so that's all pared down. I mean, you go further, all these little nodules here come off as well. See? These are all good to use. Even the stem is good. So this stem goes into my buckets of stems, and this root then, well, I'll continue to peel that. It's actually, once you take off these little nodules, which are very, very good for the tincture as well, and you just continue to peel, and it all comes away. Make a big mess. I normally do this in the sink under running water. But there you go. And ta-da! Peeled root. And it's what it'll look like overnight, but I mean, that's still quite fine. So that's the roots. So next up we have this is my dehydrator tray. I have 8 of these in my dehydrator, and these silicone mats, you can get them on Amazon. Now I had to cut them to fit. That's okay, we can do that. So dehydrating is very easy. We put herbs, in this case the flowers and the leaves of Meadowsweet, onto the mat, on the tray. Might be a little bit too much. Spread them out. Now things like Meadowsweet are nice and light, so you can do it a little bit thicker. If you're dehydrating things, I don't know, like lemon slices for example, they're a bit thicker and a bit more like, obviously more wet. You put them in like single layers. But this now, there you go, it's the full dehydrator tray. Now, so I fill my 8 of these, put them into the dehydrator at 55 degrees Celsius. It probably takes 8 to 10 hours. I hesitate to give a time because every dehydrator is different, and I just put the dehydrator on. I stick 10 hours on the timer, 12 hours on the timer, and just keep an eye. I have to rotate the trays sometimes. Once it's all dry and crispy, it's done. Make sure it's cooled down, put it in a jar, and you're good to go. And then hopefully you will end up, this is dehydrated Meadowsweet. Get my chopping board here, it's nice and clean. Yeah, good look at that. If you can hear it, it's all dry and crispy. Now there's leaves, flowers, and bits of stem. That's fine. None of this is going into you. It is just what you make the tea out of, and this is discarded afterwards. If you buy Meadowsweet in the shops, it will look a lot prettier, but this is the same stuff. So that's what you get. Store it in a jar. Now, it tends to last about a year. This is obviously last year's stuff. Label it, and this is all I've left. So we managed that just about the right amount. It's a bit scary there for a few days. Now, so that's the tea, or the dehydrating for tea, and then the rest goes into tincture. So my tincture, I'm going to have this clean litre jar here, and this nice canning funnel. The roots, some have oxidized more than others. The roots now, I will just cut them into smaller pieces. Try a different knife. Try not to cut myself on camera. These are quite hard. Now, those I put into the funnel, through the funnel rather, into the jar. Now this tincture, I'm going to do half roots and half these stems, because even these, the smell is this pink smell. If you never used Meadowsweet, to go out and find it and snap it open to smell the smell is definitely worthwhile. So I'll come back when I've all these roots done. Well, I didn't cut myself on camera, but you know, I shouldn't have said anything, should I? So here's the roots I've all cut up. You know, you don't have to be. These are very big diameter roots now. You don't normally get them so big. We found a great spot. Normally it's this sort of size. So I actually found roots that I had to cut in quarter. I was amazed. So it's a simple matter of putting the herbs in the jar. So here we are. roots. Try not to let them hit the floor. So I have this nice handy canning fodder all the top, which is great. Now here are these other little roots that I was showing you before. So those, yeah, I'll tilt you up a bit because you can't just see the top of the, there we go, much better. So these little roots, just chop them in. And I found a few of these out as well. These are the little nodules that I pulled off the main stem. So these are actually quite thick, but they're very soft, so they'll just cut in as well. And there's some of those roots still on them too. Now that jar is half full, more or less. Well, it's a bit full. And on top of that then, I have all these stems that I mentioned earlier. That way then I'll have 2 jars of tincture. So if the odd leaf goes in here, that's also good. So you simply fill up your jar with your herbs, in this case meadowsweet roots and stems. Now it's not pushed down, there's still plenty of room in there. Actually get a bit more. And there we go, roots chopped up. Yeah. Then you simply fill that with your chosen alcohol. So now, because this is meadowsweet root and stem, it's harder than the leaves. So normally, if you have access to it, you could use a 60% volume alcohol. I don't. You mightn't. So the 40% vodka is what we've got. So that's what we're going to work with. And it's better for beginners anyway, because you can just use the tincture out the other side without having to dilute it and mess around with figures and stuff. And then trying to work out dosages. So I have a little bit more here. And topped up to the top. And that's that. So if you have the 60% alcohol, it will draw more content from the roots. But you have to dilute it then with water as you use it. And it just might get a bit messy if you're just starting off. So starting off is fine. That's all there. Lovely looking. And that stays like that for 8 weeks. So again, the most complicated part of making tincture is writing the label. This one says Meadowsweet, 37.5% volume, because it's not quite 40%, but you know. Today's date, the 7th of July 25, and to the 1st of September 25, which is 8 weeks time, which is when this is ready. And I'll show you now what it looks like when it's ready. Now, this is my bottle from this year. Well, from last year, it's this year's bottle. This is dark. And, geez, you smell of vodka. But also the smell then of the meadowsweet. Oh, excuse me. Don't take a big smell of alcohol first thing in the morning. So that's poured back in. So in 8 weeks time, you will come along, strain this through a sieve into a clean container, and it will take on that lovely brown colour. And then you will have your meadowsweet tincture. Meadowsweet tincture, we use it here for stomach upsets. It actually, I've just discovered it has a urinary tract aspect to it as well, so I have to look more into that. And we use it for pain, because the salicylic acid, which is the active ingredient in Meadowsweet, was the forerunner for aspirin. So salicylic acid is found in willow bark. You'll hear a lot of people saying, oh, acid has come from willow bark. But it was first discovered in Meadowsweet. I think it's a higher concentration in willow bark. But unlike aspirin, aspirin now has been removed from the market. Well, not from the market, but it's been removed from general use because it does damage to the stomach lining and your stomach. But Meadowsweet contains within it not only the salicylic acid of aspirin, but also it heals your stomach. It heals your stomach acid. It's great. But anyway, don't take my medical advice. Check it out for yourself. But there's Meadowsweet tincture. Meadowsweet tincture made. Meadowsweet tincture dried, or Meadowsweet herb dried. And that's it. It's that easy, folks. You start going out and harvesting some Meadowsweet for yourself. Now, as long as it's in a clean area that you know hasn't been sprayed. We happened to get ours from an organic farm, which was like the gold standard for herb harvesting. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So I hope that's helpful, and we should see you soon.